Welcome back to another episode of DNC Reviews. I'm Arjun. As you know, we also have Ronan and Seung with us here today. And today we are doing a review of the new Rich Brian album that dropped this past Tuesday called 1999.
So one day if you find your way, I'll be waiting.
It's going to be a good time. We're going to do it live. We're going to react to every song, give us a few thoughts, and then share our final opinions and give it a score at the end. So it should be fun. You guys have any thoughts about Rich Brian or about the project before we start?
Oh no, bro. What happened to Rich Brian, bro? I'm just looking at the cover right now. Dude doesn't look like Rich Brian. He looks like poor Brian, bro. I'll be honest with you.
We're going to get started with this first song of the 7-track album / EP mixtape. It's called Sometimes. So let's get right into it. That was nice. That was a really good intro. I don't know. I think I really like how the beat like changed as the song went on. Like you started with just the synth, no drums, then you added drums, then like when you got to that like drop, which you really see in a hip hop song, all the other instruments came in, and if you're wearing headphones, they came from all over, left and right, and it was just nice. Like there were like little small elements of like percussion that you couldn't really hear until the chorus, and then everything worked. I liked how personal this song was. I've never really heard Rich Brian in speaking this introspectively. Yeah, he's used to talking about like on Dat Stick, he talked about like killing cops and all the Asian stereotypes and being above all of that. But now he's talking about like now that he's famous and now that he's up, he's worrying about different things that he didn't really think that he would have to worry about, like friendships and relationships. And it's not about like the fame and like the cash anymore. It's more of like himself, which is weird and sort of cliche, but it works for him. And like the song is good. It sounds good. I love the drop. I love the chorus. He's singing, which is different. Never heard him sing like that before. He's tried to sing in the past, but it wasn't as like refined as it was in this song, which I enjoyed. This is a really good song.
Yeah, I'm quite excited with this album. You can see from the lyrics, he's just saying he's gonna try new things, and no one can stop him from doing it. So yeah, I can just imagine that this album's gonna be all different styles compared to Dat Stick or the things he was doing in the past.
Yeah, I noticed a change in his music and the way it sounds, and ever since from his original name to his new name, Rich Brian, like his music also changed.
Yeah, it just sounds like he's not taking himself so seriously anymore, you know? Like he started not taking himself so seriously with the Dat Stick. He was just like having fun. Then he put out The Sailor, which was super personal and intricate, and it was a really good album. And then now this is, since it's a shorter project, not only is it more focused. I'm not saying that it's unfocused because he's having more fun with it, but it just sounds like he's exploring more sounds, but it doesn't sound awkward, which is a really hard thing to pull off. So far so good. We're 1 for 1. All right, now we're gonna get into the second track, which is called Don't Care, which is, we just found out, is accompanied by a nice music video, so that should be fun. The beat was nice. It was a good beat. I liked how like the synth was only in like your right ear, and like the drums were nice. The chorus is really corny for me. And one thing that I really disliked about this track, I hate to go straight to the bad parts, was the bridge. He could hit the notes, but it just sounded like he was like straining his voice. And like what he was saying, like lyrically, was fine. I like how he's just getting more personal with it. This is like a nice, compact project that is very focused, and he's very, really like straight to the point, which I appreciate. But I don't know if like the singing route is for him. And when I say that, he can sing, but is it nice to hear? Not so much for me. I hate to bring him up again because I don't want to give him free clout, but the kid Leroy, you know how he like strains his voice a little bit to like hit those notes? That's exactly the same feeling I'm getting with Rich Brian. No, that's not to like disrespect him or anything. He's a great artist. Is he a great singer? No. Is he a great rapper? He's pretty good.
I feel like he could have done more in this song, because it's just like 2 minutes 45 seconds, and it's just weird how he decided to put 3 choruses. The first song was fine because we heard some rap parts in it. We heard good lyrics and everything. But this one, yeah, as Arjun said, was kind of corny, the chorus.
I think he's just trying to figure himself out. Like if you see in the video, he's like tatted up now and he's like hitting the vape. And I know the Rich Brian I knew like 2 years ago would wouldn't have been that guy. Now he's like one of the leading like first ever Asian rappers who like made and became famous. So right now he's trying to figure out, should he try and conform to the mainstream hip hop culture, or should he try and go by his Asian norms and all that. So I think that's what he's trying to figure out right now. And whether he
That's a really
should
interesting.
make songs that are like that the mainstream rap media and all that, like what the people want right now and what's working right now, or should he just continue to do his own thing?
A good point, good observation, because this track, if you cut it in half, is exactly what you're saying. Half of it is the trap drums and the trap beat and like the rhyme schemes that we know Rich Brian for, and the other half is this new part of him that he's trying to tap into. So this is exactly what you're trying to what you are saying. It's like the duality of whether he steps foot and he stays in the lane that he already created as the first Asian rapper to really like make it in the US, or does he stay with the sound that people are used to that he knows will sell. So yeah, it's an interesting point to make. Yeah, so that wraps up track two. We're moving on to track number three, which is Long Run. So let's see if he could bring us back with this one. Well, he gave the Suicide Boys a shout out. Super dope. It stays in that same lane as the other two songs. He's just talking about his relationships, but at the same time, now he's getting a little bit cocky. He's saying that he doesn't have a big ego, but quite clearly he does. But that goes for everyone in the industry. But I don't know. The chorus is just, it doesn't grab me like that. Like name, like what does he say? Like face still the same, brain still the same. Like that really doesn't do anything for me. The beat is nice. It's a little repetitive. It's a shorter song. The first song was 4 minutes. These next two were 2 minutes and 45 seconds. He's saying stuff. He's flowing nicely. He's rapping well, but is he really saying anything? And I don't know. I think it's sort of unfair to compare him to the likes of like Kanye West, Kendrick Lamar, Danny Brown, like Boldy James, Benny the Butcher, anyone. When you're rapping and you're repeating stuff and you're not going super fast, you have to be saying something that is substantial, and especially on a 7 track project, every word that you're saying needs to have value. And if it doesn't, if it's just like a throwaway, I'm not gonna call that lazy, but I'm gonna call that somewhat careless.
I like the beginning. Like the beginning was a little melodic, and I thought that was nice, but it got boring later.
Well, it sucks though, because I really want to like this project, but this song has the same flaws as the last one. It's a little bit boring. If you like it, you like it. There's nothing wrong with that, but it doesn't really do anything for me.
I didn't get much out of the song because I listened to the second track. It was pretty much the same thing. And he's being all cocky about it, and I want him to just like perform better than this. If he's gonna be like, he doesn't care about other people, I want him to do it well.
All right, well, that concludes track number three. We are moving on to track number four, which is called When You Come Home. This one's actually 3 minutes and 49 seconds. So let's hope that since it's a longer track, it doesn't disappoint like the previous two. So let's get right into that. We found it, boys. We found the 3 a.m. Simp song.
Let's go.
3 a.m. staring at your ceiling. This is the exact. Oh my, we found it. This is Rich Brian staying in his vocal range. This is Rich Brian sticking to what he's comfortable with, not only with what he's comfortable with, but stuff that he can do well. The instrumental is just so bare bones, so minimal, and it's so spacey. I hate to use the word vibey, but that's sort of what it is. You put this on when you're just like chilling, you will get in your feels, guaranteed. So good on him. Like this is a great song, especially after he finishes that last line of when he says "when you come home." Then there's like a 20-second bit at the end where the instrumental just goes on, and it's just so nice, and it's just so grand, but yet so simple. It's a great track. Great track.
Yeah, this is way better than the other two songs we just listened. This is something, I think he's going in perspectives of his own and his parents, and talking about how he like left Indonesia to pursue his career. But I really liked it. The lyrics are so simple that it's like really good to listen to.
Oh, that's what it's about.
I think so, yeah.
That makes it so much better.
Barefoot in my place just to keep it clean. I hate it when you didn't do the same. But the floor in my house misses your shoes.
Oh,
Because
that's so cool.
like for us Asians. Oh yeah. So you know how you have to like walk around house barefoot, right? No shoes allowed in the house. So I think
Yes,
he's
sir.
saying this like his parents miss Rich Brian back in Indonesia. So it's just so emotional and
That is so cool. That
uh,
is sick.
exactly.
Bro, that track is amazing. That is the best track on this whole thing. I don't even care what the other three songs sound like. That is beautiful.
I was thinking 1999 is probably his birthday, like the birth,
Yeah.
probably reflective
This is great.
of his roots, where he's from.
This is so great.
It's like if you think about the first three songs, it's like he turned into this American pop star, but then now he's returning to Indonesia.
Bro, Ronan, you're going off today, man.
As usual, as usual.
Great. This is it almost brought tears to my eyes. This track is really, really good.
I mean, this song has good lyrics and all that, but I might have enjoyed it if the voice was Frank Ocean or The Weeknd.
True.
Like,
I understand
I don't
that.
know, maybe it's a mixing thing, but I still don't like this whole sad tone is Rich Brian's vibe yet. I don't
Yeah.
know. That's just what I think. Like, if you're gonna do a song like this, you have to do it really good. So
That's true.
that's why I think like it should be a better voice.
But you could
That's
tell
fair.
he improved a lot from the previous albums. Because remember back in like Color YouTube thing, at the end he was like, buy my album so I can pay for my vocal lesson or something. And now he's just singing. So I mean, he'll get
Love to
there
see it.
someday. I believe it.
Yeah,
He'll get
for
there.
sure, for sure. Well, DOA has some big shoes to fill, so let's see if track number 5 does the job. It is 2 minutes and 40 seconds, so we'll see, we'll see. I like how upbeat it was. He doesn't rap on this track. A little disappointing, but I don't know. In the context of the album, I don't know if you want to go from how emotional and how full of substance the previous track was, and go into this fun track, which he's really saying nothing at all that connects to what he said in the previous track. It's just sort of like a fun, everyone just like have fun club banger, which is fine to have, but especially when you're following up When You Come Home, you expect Rich Brian to ease himself back into that up tempo, upbeat. I mean, it is what it is. He did what he did. You could nod your head to this one, but would I add it to a playlist? I don't really think so.
This gave me the Weekend vibe, the beat choice and the style.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but I don't think I would really add it to my playlist as well.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be the most popular song out of the album because I think there's a growing trend with like 80s synths in recent songs with like The Weeknd and Dua Lipa.
Yeah.
When I listen to this song, I just imagine Rich Brian hopping off the jet, landing on LA, and he's just like driving through the highway through LA, just with the lights.
Yeah.
In terms of the album, I'm not sure if it really provided that much.
Especially, like, I'm bringing this point back, but when we're talking about a 7-track album, like, you're telling a story and everything should connect in a cohesive way, especially when you have such a small amount of tracks to work with. And I don't know if this track does the job, but it depends on what you want to go for. If you're going for the hit, this is the hit. If you're going for a complete album that people will enjoy front to back, no skips, no pauses, I don't really know. Let's get into the second to last track, Love in My Pocket, which I think has a music video. I'm not sure.
What just happened? What just happened?
Music video, if you haven't seen it, I recommend not watching it. I mean, I guess it was fun. It was a good song. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that he actually rapped on this one. The chorus was not annoying. It flowed nicely. And it was just a bop. This song works. It's good. Music video, a little funky. It's a tad funky, but it was nice.
I don't know. Do you think the video is talking about race?
Like, in what way?
Well, all I know is when Rich Brian the scientist was making his like perfect Rich Brian copies, he was implementing all the qualities of a rapper he doesn't have. When all those three monster people, when they got all those hip hop clothing and they're like immersed in that hip hop culture, and then when they leave when they go to the outside world, like all the people were shocked about them and were like surprised. I'm not sure about this, but maybe it was talking about, so he like loved hip hop so much back in Indonesia, but as soon as he came to the US as an Indonesian rapper, it's like a big surprise to everyone.
Yeah, it was a cool track. We only have one more track to go, so let's get right into it and we will give our final thoughts. I actually really enjoyed that one. I liked when you first started singing in the beginning without rapping as the instrumental was building up. I was like, I'm gonna hate this song so much. He's going back to like the sing songy stuff that he always does. Not that he always does, that he's been doing in this album. But then he started rapping. Rapping's just on point. Every time he raps, it's always on point. He's not doing like the stupid like triplet flows and all of that that everyone else is doing. He's sticking to the theme of the album, and I think that like going back and forth with the singing and the rapping is what he should be doing from now on, especially when he's staying in his range. And then the voicemail at the end, when it's first started, I was like, this is super corny. Like, why is he putting this at the end? I mean, I understand why he would put it at the end as like the outro to the album on the last track. I think that it works. I think that someone saying that they're just proud of him for how far he's come. Now that you've made it, his past two albums have been about like making it, and now it's the now what part of his life where he's allowed to do what he wants, and he's allowed to explore and have fun and deal with all the stuff that comes his way personally, whether it be with like friends, family, people who turn their back on him, people who want to be friends with him now that he's famous. He has to now deal with all that. So it should be interesting to see what he has to drop in the future. But this is a very solid body of work.
Do you guys think that he ended the album well with that last track? Do you think he's summed up everything? I felt it was kind of awkward for me because there were so many, like there were like few good songs in the album, and to end it up with this song, I don't. I just think it's a miss for me. Kind of ruined the vibe for the album. Yeah.
I think it lacked punch. Like, it lacked like stuff. Like, I mean, it wrapped it up, but like leaves you unsatisfied. Like, I'm still kind of hungry. Like, yeah, like
Yeah, like you got. I hate to compare him to Pimp a Butterfly, but you got Mortal Man as the last track on there where he does the poem. Like come on.
Like if you're having a full course meal, maybe the steak or the dessert will like have the finishing touches that'll like make you satisfied. But this right here, this album doesn't even have a steak, and it has and the dessert is not even that satisfying and making me full.
Or even worse, you are full, but you're not good full. Like you're not satisfied, but you're full.
No, I think I'm not full and I'm just munching on bread. Like all these random, like these really basic, mundane tasting like songs. aka like the random bread you get, like the bread
Yeah, yeah,
service
yeah.
you get from the.
So like we started with the bread, and then we got
No,
like
no, we started with the appetizer and like the salad, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like those
And then
like the songs that sound like Main Street rap, that's like your bread. And then there's like, okay, and like the nice chill one, maybe that's like your, I don't know the term, but like the one that's leading up to the main course and all that. Like, but then it just had no main dish, and you know, I just gotta chew on the bread now.
oh, so you still have bread like left over.
Yeah, exactly.
From the start. Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah. DNC reviews is talking about food now. You feel me?
Yeah, bro. I mean, well, it's a good analogy because then people will understand what we're talking about. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, final thoughts on the album for me. I thought there were some highs, but there were a lot of lows and a lot of mids, which some may argue are worse than lows because they're less prominent, but they're still like, you know? I think that being unsure about a track is worse than knowing that a track is bad, because then it's like a nothing track. Like if it's a bad track, at least like it is something, it has an identity. But if it's mid, then it's just mid. Yeah, I enjoyed 2 tracks out of the 7 track offering, which was Sometimes, I think it was called, the first track, and When You Come Home, which we all agreed was just amazing. I think that I'm excited to see where Rich Brian goes with his next album. I thought that this offering, it wasn't bad at all. It just wasn't my taste, and it was a little bit too basic, and the singing is gonna take some getting used to for me. I think that if he improves on it, it could really do bits. So overall for me, this wasn't bad, but coming from his previous album, The Sailor, which was amazing, I think that this was a little. It left me like, as Ronan said, it left me wanting a little bit more. Even though it was only 7 track, it left me like yearning for that feeling of like completion. So after the first listen of this album, I'm going to give this project a 5 out of 10.
I agree with Arjun. The 2 songs, that's the only songs I liked in the album. Maybe if I didn't know who Rich Brian was or how he sounded like before, I would have maybe liked it more. I would just look at him as being like the new singing rapper or something. But since I know what he's capable of doing, I'm not gonna rate it too high. So my rating is going to be 4 out of 10. I want it more. And it's also 7 songs. So yeah, there can't be any misses.
He probably had fun making this album, and I'm happy for him for having fun making an album. Something I noticed with a lot of artists is they would have like the one trash song they make with fun. Like Drake would make Tootsie Slide. It's like but he had fun with it, and then next he'll drop like Laugh Now, Cry Later, which is a good song. So I'm expecting high hopes for him. With only like 7 songs and you're not even bringing content and you're making me still hungry, that's a 4.5.
All right, so it seems that we all feel similarly about the project. So yeah, that concludes our review, our first listen impressions review on 1999 by Rich Brian. Yeah, this has been fun. We look forward to doing more throwback reviews, single track reviews. Drake might be dropping soon. The streets are talking, so we'll see how how that pans out. But whenever anything drops, we'll be sure to get on top of all that and cover all of that for all of you. And yeah, look forward to more shorter videos, single track reviews. We might do another day in the life type video, but we'll see. We'll try to get some more guests. I mean, not more guests. The only guest that we had was Ronan, and now he's permanently on the show. So we'll
That's
see.
cool.
We'll see how everything else goes. But yeah, it's been fun, and we're all heading back to school, so expect us to upload on the weekends. Yeah, you can find us YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you find your podcast. Tell a friend. Yeah, it's been fun. Rich Brian, 1999. Goodbye.